Hi everyone, welcome to Water Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie, and yes, your eyes do not deceive you. That's my ugly mug you can see on your screen. This is a replay sent to me from Relor, Lord of Light, actually sent from a friend of his from Hodor clan, and he is on Redshire, and he's running around in the T22 medium, the tier 10 Russian medium tank, which was the reward tank for the Rampage missions. Last year, 2016, they had there was two different kinds of Rampage events in the Water Tanks, and of course they had two different modes, and there was about 20 or 30 missions you had to complete to get this tank. This is a reward tank, the T22 medium. Not many people have this tank. It's a very hard tank to get. It was a very different game mode where it was often hard to get a game, but at times, I think late at night, people used to play it, probably a little bit after my bedtime. But anyway, Relor, Lord of Light from the Game of Thrones TV show, I guess. He's in his T22 medium. It's as I said, it's a tier 10 Soviet tank, and it's got APCR rounds, 320 hit points of damage, 264 penetration, 330 penetration with the heat rounds, if that APCR ammunition isn't enough. But Relor, Lord of Light, is having a look at that T49. Just misses the shot on the tier 8 American light tank, and of course he's up there in the middle of Redshire doing what medium tanks often do. Looking at the mini-map, this is obviously not a very old video because there's a couple of defenders on each side. The new tier 8 Soviet heavy tank, which is so ubiquitous in the game at the moment. Nobody going to where the heavy tanks normally go. It is a tier 10 battle, so you can understand the defenders not really wanting to go there, but the T57 heavy and maybe the Type 4 heavy could possibly do a little bit better over there. The Type 4 heavy looking on the western side of the map, having a bit of a crack with that T44 100. But Relor, Lord of Light from Hodor clan, he's platooned up with his old mate Samich from PB CAC. And, of course, the Flying Elite, who in this replay is clanless, but I'm pretty sure he ended up at Tim Clan. Now, the T-54 may be trolling Relor, Lord of Light a little bit, and Lord of Light trying to maybe give a little bit back. Just kicking back on the hills in the middle of Redshire at the moment, looking for some opportunities, and, of course, not sending anybody on this eastern flank has allowed that Leopard Tier 10 German medium tank to go all the way down there where artillery could be. Luckily artillery was smart enough to go southwest rather than southeast, and Relor, Lord of Light, just making the most of his big Russian gun and pumping 912 hit points of damage into that Leopard before that T-54 Dash Frog picked up the kill. Artillery does its job on the IS-3A and gets rid of Dorky Dave. That's a pretty cool in-game name, but unfortunately for Dorky Dave, is back to the garage for him too. Zip is the score. Relor, Lord of Light, picked up 912 hit points of damage and 911 assisted damage as well. Gets a shot into... was that the T49? Or the FV? I think it was the T49. 3 zip the score now, and 1245 hit points of damage, 1175 assisted damage. Is not having a bad game at all. Flying Elite, who's no stranger to this channel, not stuffing around and getting stuck straight up the northwest flank along with Samich in his Object 430. He absolutely loves that tank, and getting that Scorpion G spotted, and they'll be hoping that somebody can help him get rid of the tier 8 German premium tank destroyer as Samich picks up the kill on the Scorp G, and it's time for Relor, Lord of Light, to get the thing out of neutral and start moving forward in the T22 medium, moving straight up the guts of Redshire with, of course, look at the mini-map. You can see Samich right up here in the corner. He's going to start clearing out this flank along with Flying Elite in his tier 8 premium German light tank. Relor gets a shot into, I think it was the E50, brings his damage count up to 1544, He's blocked a shot there as well, and he's done a bit of assisted damage, and now he's just looking for some opportunities to get that Russian gun working on the side of the E100. That would look like a fat kid in front of a hamburger when he sees the E100 on its side. That shot surely put damage into the T10 German tank. He wouldn't have had time to move from there, but those tanks that were last spotted in the northeast, that's probably what I'd be getting a little bit excited about. That shot doesn't seem to go into the E100 as R'hllor, Lord of Light, gets spotted. Of course, I reckon he's changed his name. I reckon his name might have been something else. I've got a little bit of an inkling of what it might have been, but of course he's getting into the Game of Thrones theme of things by spending 2,500 gold to change his name. A couple of friends of mine like doing that every now and then as well. 4-2's the score, 1544 damage, 390 blocked, 1173 spotted damage or assisted damage. And of course R'hllor, Lord of Light, just looking for some more opportunities into these enemy tanks. That Jagdpanzer E100, that would be a dicey shot. He makes it work. 339 hit points of damage into the T10 German tank destroyer. Of course the heavily armed tank destroyer with that massive gun, which does around about not far off 1,000 hit points of damage a shot, I think, as he moves back onto the other side of the hills in the middle of the map. A lot of tanks down here keeping artillery company. I guess they're worried that the artillery drivers might get a little bit lonely, and so of course the defender, the Object 268, and looks like the Tier 9 Baby Waffle, really trying to maybe make conversation with the artillery drivers and make them feel like they're still part of the game. FV215B, the Mountain. You'd think with a name like that, you'd think it'd be in Hodor as well. Another Game of Thrones name, the FV215V, cops a couple of shots from R'hllor, Lord of Light, in the T22 medium tank, but is no longer spotted, of course, because these tanks are so far back, they're really having trouble spotting the Tier 10 British medium tank. Looks like he's tracked on cap, and R'hllor, Lord of Light says, "You're guilty." I'll take a shot into the turret of the Mountain, the FV215B. Of course, if you're a fan of the show, the Mountain's that massive bloke. I think in real life he might be a wrestler or a boxer. I'm pretty sure it's a wrestler. And he plays one of the characters, the Mountain. That's his name, the Mountain. And his brother's in it too, the bloke with the burnt face. But anyway, 5-3's the score. 2,199 damage, 390 block, 2,595. Assisted damage is well on the way. Even though he hasn't got any kills yet in the T22 medium, he's well on the way for a pretty good game as he has a look at the E100. Going for a tracking shot or a damaging shot? No, it's reloading heat before he gets spotted. Wants to make sure that every shot counts into that big E100. Picks up a bit more spotting damage. Looks like he might not be shooting. Maybe he's just waiting for the kill shot. And he's on the mission to track 4 tanks, which I reckon he's already done that, because that's maybe some part of that assisted damage. Destroy the tracks of 4 different enemy vehicles and cause damage to those vehicles while they're tracked. That E100 down to 296 hit points of health. And I reckon once they get rid of that E100, they'll be absolutely laughing. Looks like the defender has come all the way from the back into the middle of the map. Samic has picked himself up 2 kills. Flying Elite, I'm sure he's doing some good spotting damage up at A4 as R'hllor, Lord of Light, puts a shot into the T54E1, the auto-loading medium American tank, which leads to the T57 Heavy. 6-4 the score now. Still on full health, R'hllor, Lord of Light, and his T22 medium reward tank. That E75 down to 718 hit points, but I reckon he's looking at the American auto-loading medium tank, who looks like he's just got a little window of opportunity, but doesn't quite land a shot. He's still on 178 health, the American Tier 9, and now as he backs through, R'hllor, Lord of Light says, "Thanks very much, I'd love that first kill." And now I'm going to start putting my attention onto these other tanks. Looks like all the enemy tanks are in the northeast part of the map, and R'hllor, Lord of Light, just looking for some shots. He can't find any at the moment. There's a lot of undulations, hills and valleys around that part, and maybe it's time to start moving forward and start using that health. Maybe get rid of that E75. I reckon that E75 is probably the tank that may have been spotting all those tanks in the middle. And R'hllor, Lord of Light, does the right thing, picks up his second kill of the game, 3,139 hit points of damage, 780, 3,108 assisted damage. So he's well on the way to an absolute ripper of a game as he starts moving around, looking at some shots on the defender, but more importantly, There's plenty of firepower. Of course, there's 2 artilleries in the southwest corner. They're all going to be aiming in this general area for sure. No problems in the world. The defender, who I don't know what the defender's doing. He was back here, remember, not so long ago. The T44-100 moving up that side, the Waffle and the Object 268, and of course the T57 autoloader in the middle. And his mate Samic would certainly be looking at shots on whatever tanks that R'hllor Lord of Light spots. He does cop his first shot of damage from the defender, who's another defender in an odd spot, but I suppose it looks like they've all been round up. Samic picks up another kill, killing the M53, M55 Tier 9 American self-propelled gun, and R'hllor, Lord of Light. I still reckon that's one of the most creative, certainly one of the most creative names I've ever seen in the game. Doing his job and keeping some tanks lit up. Of course, this Object 268 on the eastern flank is probably lighting up this medium tank here, the FV 4202, and R'hllor Lord of Light says, "You'll guilty." Another shot of damage into the British Tier 8 premium medium tank as the Flying Elite does the honours and picks himself up a kill. 10-6 is the score to this point of the game. They're probably thinking, yep, the win's looking pretty good, but we want to turn it from a win into a good win. A win where we absolute smash it. That defender, no, the defender that died a while ago is picking the map furiously, which is what happens. But of course, R'hllor Lord of Light being respectful of that big Jagdpanzer, which can have a pretty, or does have a pretty whopping gun. Of course, that big Tier 10 German tank destroyer is one of my favourite guns in the game. Might not be my favourite tank, but I'll tell you what, when you land a shot in that thing, it's an absolute, just fantastic. R'hllor Lord of Light puts a shot into, looks like the defender, 10-7 to score. Flying Elite doing the right thing and putting some cap pressure on the enemy side, trying to encourage them to make a mistake and help R'hllor to maybe get some more shots as he puts a shot into the defender, bounces a Tier 8 Russian heavy tank shot and unlucky not to land that second shot, but the T57 still sniping from the middle of the map picks up the kill. That's his first kill for the game. You'd think he would have had a few more kills than that if he's been sitting back there all the time. And R'hllor Lord of Light using his health and his mobility to troll this defender. Moves out of the way of the Jagdpanzer E100. Takes the kill on the Tier 8 Soviet tank. And now that Jagdpanzer is fired, he knows he's safe and he can put a shot into the Tier 10 German tank destroyer, but the Object 268 picks the kill up and confirms the win, and in the end, not a bad result at all. It's an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge for R'hllor Lord of Light from Hodor Clan. I still reckon that's a grouse name. Spotting damage for spotting medal for spotting damage. Bruiser, fired up, 5 for effect, of course. The Confederate medal for hitting more enemy vehicles than anybody else on his team, at least 6, and of course a high caliber. Absolute ripper. Have a look at all those tanks that R'hllor Lord of Light from Hodor Clan spotted, damaged or destroyed. It was an absolute ripper. 5,252 hit points of damage, 4 kills, base experience score of 1,314 damage. He fired 30 shots, 29 hit, 19 did damage, 5,252, 20 damage block, 4,500 spotting damage. Towards the end of that battle, I really didn't pay as much attention as I did at the start to the assisted damage, but that was enough for an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge. It cost him a few coin there with the premium ammunition and the premium consumables, but all in all, not a bad result at all for R'hllor Lord of Light in the Russian Tier 10, the T22 medium, the Rampage reward tank. Thanks for the replay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.